All right, so I'm live here. So hello everybody, I am Gilmar Smith. Thank you for joining me today. I'm gonna be talking about my favorite topic ever. It is self-portraiture. So I'm gonna be walking you through my whole process, how I come up with ideas, how I shoot my self-portraits, and how uncomfortable everything is sometimes, or pretty much every time. And then I'm gonna be showing you a self-portrait that I took a couple of days ago. And I'm gonna be retouching it from beginning to end if we have enough time. So thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna be telling you a little bit about myself and showing you some of my previous self-portraits. And that way you kind of get into my head and see how my whole process go. So now the fun part is that I'm gonna be sharing my screen. So let's start by sharing this here. Desktop number 2, we're gonna hit play and then we are going to share this with you. So as you can see, my name is Gilmar Smith and it's pronounced like if it was an H. So I have that on my website and pretty much everywhere. So people learn how to do it, to pronounce it. And it comes from my dad's name is Gilberto and my mom's name is Maria, and they just mix it together, and that's how they come up with the name. So I was born and raised in Venezuela. I'm based in Orlando, Florida, like 15 minutes from the Disney parks. And you can find me on Instagram as Gilmar Smith, in Twitter as Gilmar M. Smith, and on my website, gilmarphotography.com, and then on Facebook, and pretty much just search for my name, and in pretty much every single social media channel. So I'm going to be talking about self-portraiture, and self-portraiture is something that has been dear to myself for a long time, and is pretty much how I started photography. So everything started because, you know, when you get a camera at the beginning, you want to photograph people, and then everybody gets tired of you, you know, like I was asking my brother to be my model, or my kid, or whoever, the neighbor, friends, and everything. And, you know, nobody is available. And I wanted to try lighting, and I wanted to try pretty much everything. And the only person available was me. And I pretty much fell in love with the freedom of creating something purely for me and by me, with my ideas, with the freedom of time, because when I'm creating something for me, I have all the time until I conceptualize and come up with idea, and I make it work whenever it is lighting, whenever it is posing, whenever it is everything is just something that I purely do for myself, and I share with you. And it somehow has helped me so much developing my personal style as a photographer. And it's pretty much why people hire me, because they want to create something similar to the pictures that I post, that pretty much are a lot of pictures of myself. So it is something that is created by me, and with my whole taste of color and humor, a lot of humor, because humor is just a huge part of who I am, and what my photography process is. So here I'm sharing some of my ideas. This whole series I came up with, I think that it was last year or the year before. It was a long one while my bangs were growing, and they were like extremely difficult to style. So I took the first picture with my bangs like that, and I was like, this is cool, because it's a self-portrait, but my face is not in it, and you know, it can be fun. So at the same time, whenever you see these pictures, the first element, it is color, right? They're very colorful, and I am not scared of saturated bright colors at all. In fact, it's pretty much part of who I am as a person. And if you see me walking the street, or if you see me at my kid's school, or if you see me anywhere, you always see me wearing something super bright because it makes me happy and it's part of who I am. So I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about how I started this whole thing. So, and it's going to be a little bit personal. I started photography in a part of my life when everything was falling apart. I was getting divorced. My son was diagnosed with autism, and I was navigating all the newness and how to help him. And then I found my Prince Charming, and I moved to another city, and I had a baby. Then with my baby, I had postpartum depression. And then while I was through postpartum depression, my Prince Charming passed away. So all of this happened in about 3 or 4 years time period. And during all that time, the thing that really, really saved me, and the moments where I could express myself and have time for myself and pretty much forget about everything that was going on in my life, it was when I was with my camera. When I had that free little time just with myself, my emotions, and my camera. And whenever when I had postpartum depression, I started doing a 365 self-portraiture project. And during that time, I was creating something new and different and learning so many techniques when it comes to photography and when it comes to Photoshop and retouching. And every single time I will feel less and less lost in my head and in my sadness and in all those weird feelings that I was going through that time. And the same when after the father of my daughters passed away, um, I deal with grief by just experimenting and playing with my camera. And it was the only moment that I had during that period of time that it was quiet in my head and everything was poured into these kind of pictures. I do not do that kind of pictures anymore because they were difficult to make, not technically, but emotionally. And whenever I create that kind of imagery, it takes me back to that moment. And I rather create things like this. So I saw a bunch of questions that you already asked for me today. And more of the questions were like, how do I come up with these concepts for my pictures? And I think that there is a little crazy room that we all have in our heads that is absolutely ridiculous. And I tap into that room lot a lot in my life because is where I find joy and um when I find my where I find my ideas. So during my period of grief, there was a moment that I was like, okay, I cannot ruminate into these feelings and this sadness anymore. So I'm going to start creating something that make me happy. So I started creating this little series based in food because who doesn't love food, right? And the magical thing happened whenever I was creating these pictures. Not only I was just laughing at the silliness and the goofiness of the pictures themselves, of the concept themselves, but I was having a blast. Like in the first one with the sprinkles, my kids were the one that were pouring the sprinkles on me, or the one with the French fries that I couldn't put them all in my mouth, and I had to tie a headband in them and then put them in my mouth, and then the craziness with the bananas and all of that. So I was having so much joy and I was just laughing about myself, about the whole concept. And whenever I was editing, I was just in this moment of pureness, joy, and and silence in my head. And that's what I really look for whenever I'm creating self-portraits. And, and if you want to find some kind of inspiration, movies and different styles is what I do. So here is something completely different to what I usually do, because my styles is very colorful and this is completely black and white, but it's about experimenting and taking yourself to the next level. Or, I do these self-portraits with my kids' ideas, with their own concepts. This concept was my daughter. It was a Saturday in the morning and she decided that she wanted to have pictures taken, and she come up with the whole concept of doing a snail race, right? So we did this together, and it's one of my favorite pictures, and I love to incorporate my kids into my photography. And we have a really crazy, super fun album that that is just pictures of ourselves doing the craziest adventures ever. So I just don't want to be talking too much in this presentation, because I want to go to the part when we edit. But I think that is very, very important if I go ahead and before I start editing, I answer some questions and we touch some of the conceptualizing things that you want to know. But it is very important that I can tell you how my process is whenever I'm taking these self-portraits. So whenever I want to, like the easiest way to take a self-portrait for me is using my Nikon Bridge app. And this one allows me to have full control of my camera through my phone, right? So I turn on the live view so I can see on my phone when my camera is on the tripod, whatever my camera is seeing, I can see it on my phone. And I can use a self timer for 5, 3, or 10 seconds. That will allow me to pose and to get ready, and I have it all in my head, and at the same time I'm seeing in my phone or in my iPad or in my computer, however I am looking in the camera. So it's kind of easy that way. The only thing that kind of triggers me a little bit whenever I'm doing this is that you take one picture, you click on it, and then you pause, and then you wait, and then you have to take another one. So my workflow when I'm doing self-portraits is I use my camera app with my phone for the first pictures. So I know how everything is looking. I know how my light is looking. I know that my set, my props, and my posing is the way that I want it. And then when I feel more comfortable in the camera, and we're going to be talking about it because people think that because I take these self-portraits, I'm super fabulous and I love the attention and I love to be in the camera and in front of the camera. But the truth is that is a very uncomfortable process, but it's a very uncomfortable process that you have to put yourself and if you want to grow as a photographer, and I'm going to be explaining you why. So what I do after using my camera app, my second step on my workflow is using my interval timer shooting. And what I do is set it for my camera to take a picture every 1.5 minutes or seconds, sorry, every 1.5 seconds or every 2 seconds. That way I'm giving my lighting, if I'm shooting with a strobe or flash or whatever, enough time to recycle. And then I can just go ahead and change and have a better flow. And I can turn the music on and I can enjoy myself, and everything is more fluid instead of having to touch the thing and doing and then touch it again. You can kind of get like anxious and stiff. But if you have the interval time shooting, it gives you more freedom of movement. It gives you more freedom of experimenting and dancing and feeling yourself and having fun. So, okay, this. All right. So here we are. So and I wanted to do the keynote presentation because I don't want you to have this whole presentation just me talking about my silliness, but I want to take time to answer some questions before we get into the retouching part of it. And I know there is a question for Chris that says, I'm interested in your thoughts of how a self-portrait is more than simply a representation of one's form and shows the multiple facets of who we are. Well, as I was mentioning before, I think that there is a magical place for all of us as creators, photographers, whenever we are alone with our own craft. And I think that is a magical place of experimentation and expression and finding ourselves as artists, you know, because you don't have anybody waiting for you to take a picture. You don't have to pose anybody but yourself. And you can tap into different topics, into different things that resonates to you, that makes you who you are, you know. So let's say if you are a wedding photographer, is because probably you are into it because you love wedding and you love that, or you love the money that comes out of wedding photography. But the thing is that probably there is a little side of you as an artist that needs a little bit of more expression and tapping a little bit of more creativity. So that's the beauty of self-portraiture, is just finding that alone time with your camera and with your craft and with your creativity, and experiencing it and experimenting and taking it to the next level. The other part that I talk about whenever I'm talking about self-portraiture is that it is uncomfortable. It is difficult and it is frustrating. And I'm going to tell you some stories about the one that we're going to be retouching. But you know who feels uncomfortable? You know who feels like so self-aware in front of a camera too? Your clients. So if you're a photographer, know that everybody, and I've seen it so many times with my clients, that they're super outspoken, they're super fun, and they're super eloquent, and they're fabulous. And then as soon as they walk in front of the camera, they completely transform, they freeze. So I think that by allowing myself to be in front of a camera and feeling uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable for me every time, and I see every wrinkle and I see every single little thing of me that I don't like. But you know, if you push through all of that, then I love the work that I create. But it's that part that is very uncomfortable at the beginning that you have to fight and that you have to go through. So by putting myself in that spot, then I can utilize the things that and the little techniques and the little tricks that I use with myself to feel more at ease. And the same with posing, like, you know, if your body is in certain way, then you can learn how to pose yourself and how you look better in front of the camera. So whenever you have a client that has the same kind of body that you have, now you know how you can pose your client in a way that they can feel more comfortable in front of the camera too. So, and you can learn and practice your craft, your lighting and everything by doing self-portraiture. So look, I'm curious how you come up with the creativity for your photography. Do you put yourself in a particular place and the thought come, or is it just mostly just, well, look, I'm going to tell you, if it is spontaneous, and most of my crazy ideas, to be honest, come out of nowhere, come out of listening to music or anything. But I think that we all have like these little thoughts and crazy ideas that come on. The thing is that you have to do is you have to catch them. And I catch them by writing down on my phone, or making a voice note, or just trying to remember these little things. But there are exercises that I do all the time to keep myself creative. And one of them is you just looking at the little things that are around you and try to look at them in a creative way. So per se, if you have a hairbrush, And I do this with everything around me. Look, okay, if this company that make hair brushes come to me tomorrow and tell me, Gilmar, you wanna do a campaign about our product, and can you pitch us a couple of ideas of how a family can use this brush? So what I try to do with everything, and I practice this and I do this in my head all the time, is just like, okay, a hairbrush. If I have a family, like, okay, mom should be brushing the daughter's hair, right? And then dad, what would be dad doing? How can we, well, we can have him like singing with the brush in the shower. And the little brother can be, on the floor using the brush, brushing a dog, and those are the kind of ideas. And I think of those ideas as pictures, like they come to me as an image already done and already made. So I think that all of that comes by practicing and putting yourself to see everything around you, every mundane thing that you do, every little single object that you have around you, just look at it in a very creative way. So, and I'm gonna answer another question, and then I'm gonna move on to retouching, and then I'm gonna come back and answer some more. Where do you get your ideas for the great concepts, and what inspires you? I think that what inspires me is the little silly kid that we all have in our heads, is just the inner child, the inner silly child that we all have in our head, and that some of us lost it and got back in touch after adulthood. So it's just looking everything with joy and silliness and humor. So if you try to look at everything with humor, then all of these ideas will come up. And with everything that happened in life, with every single object and every single situation, like just pick something, just pick a mood, and make a list of different things and different ideas that you can do with that as images, with certain mood or certain objects or certain concepts. And then after you make a list, just try to tap into those ideas, or just go to Pinterest or Behance or whatever, and search those words. Or now there is like AI, so what if you try to come up with those ideas and put them on Midjourney or Firefly or whatever, and they come up with these images, and then you can use those images as inspirations for your photo shoots. Why not? It's just like turning it all around. They got all of our concepts to put it on AI. So how if we take it back and we use it as an inspiration for photo shoots, right? So, okay. So let's go to the retouching part of things, and I'm gonna be sharing a picture that I recently took, and I'm going to be taking you to my process on Lightroom, and then I'm gonna be taking you to my process on Photoshop. And so I'm just gonna share here with you, and okay, here we go. So I hope that you can see this. Yes. So this is a picture that I took about 2 days ago, yesterday or the day before, I don't even remember. And the concept that I came up for it was the color blue, right? And then I add these fake little pills in there. They have happy faces. And I got them on Amazon. And then I had this Mylar paper thin, reflective thin, and I used it to cover a table, and I put some other little pills in there. So the whole concept of this is blue. I love to do monochromatic images and really take the color to the next level. Well, most of the people just try to take away the color. I just always try to push it in. So, and then I did my hair, and the funny thing about it is just I wanted to have like a 80s perm. And at the beginning when I did it, my hair was huge, and then it kept falling. But then I put these fake nails that keep falling on me. And every time that I tried to fix my hair, my nails were falling. So it was a complete disaster. And I used like my blue eyeshadow, and I wanted to do like a total 80 things for this picture. But it is what it is. It's the freedom and it's the time that you do to create something that is fun to you. And I just love doing this thing, and I enjoy doing this. So the first thing that I want to do whenever I look at these images, and this is the raw image, I want to crop this part and probably crop a little bit here, because this part is like way too bright. So let's see if we take it somewhere around it, and that way it's gonna give like more emphasis into me. The other thing that I wanted to check is it was straight in there. Now it is. So that will be the first step of whatever I will do, right? So then there are a bunch of things that I would like to fix, but some of these are for Photoshop. But I love to start here in Lightroom just to get a better idea of where I'm going. I think that I'm going to write it up like exposure a little bit here. And I like that. And then I'm just going to go here to my, oh, actually, I will like to, how I took this picture is just, I just had a spotlight in here, and that was the only light that was on me. But then I had another light bounce to the ceiling with a blue gel, because I wanted to have everything in blue. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the shadows, and I'm gonna let that blue concept in a little bit better. And I think that does it for me, because it's not black, it's blue. And then we're gonna take care of these colors too. But before we do that, I want to come here and see if I can just get the light a little bit. I don't want to do it too much, but just make it lighten it up with the light curve over here. Then the next thing that I would like to do is just, I love this color, but I wanted to make it less bright and a little bit more into the blue and less into the cyan or aqua that it is. So what I'm gonna do here is I get to these to my colors, and I'm gonna get this aqua more into blue. You see, if I take it this way, it goes more into aqua, and if I get this, it gets more into blue. And I want like the colors, the blues, to be a little bit more close to their tones, like they look more monochromatic. So I'm gonna do the saturation, but then I want it to be less bright. And there you go. So, okay. The other thing that I wanted to do right here, it is I am going to get my darker things a little bit dark, and then I'm gonna open up my shadows, because that's going to allow me afterwards to add colors to my shadows. And I'm gonna be opening up my blacks here a little bit. So this is my process of how I approach my images. And I do a lot of things in Lightroom before I go to Photoshop. And boom. See how I use the haze, and I use this to get my colors like to pop a little bit more. Like if you go this way, and then I can take it, and everything is like boom. And that's my vibe, is the colors that I want to really make pop in here. So, okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to make something happening in this light circle over here. I don't really care about the difference of the tones going on here. I want to modify it. And the way that I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use Lightroom's newest features. And by the way, while I'm doing this, I'm using my little Wacom tools, and this is the one that goes with me pretty much everywhere. I always have it in my bag with my laptop, and it is fabulous. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna grab the radial gradient, right? And I'm gonna hold in my shift key, and I'm gonna open it. What that's going to do for me is going to make a circle, a perfect circle. If I don't hold the shift key, it's gonna make an oval. So I don't want an oval, I want a circle, because this is a circle, right? So I'm just hoping that this is the same size as the light in there, right? Okay, so we have this, and it looks red because we haven't done anything about it just yet. I can even go here and feather or less feather. I think that this is the sweet spot. I don't want it to be like super sharp like this, because that's not very realistic. I think I'm gonna leave it like a here at 15 probably. Yes, let's take it to 18 or 19. That's good. So what I am going to do next is, first, I am going to see, yeah, I make it a little bit brighter, right? So now what you see, if I make any modifications here, this is affecting me too. And I don't want to do that. I don't want that to happen. So what do we do? Well, you're gonna click on here on your mask, and you're going to see here that it says subtract. You're gonna click on it, and then you're gonna go to select people. And it's gonna select people, and it's gonna show me here. You're gonna click on it, on the person, of if you have more than 2 people, you click on the one that you want. And that has select me completely over here, right? And if I click here, create a mask, then you see, now I'm not selected. So whenever I'm doing anything to this, it's not affecting me anymore. And this is the magic of the newest features of Lightroom AI. I think that this is great. I just don't want to overdo it, because if I overdo it, then the difference is too big. And then I can do different adjustments just on another mask on myself, and we're gonna do that. So I'm just showing you a couple of techniques that you can modify and utilize on your pictures. So since we're here and we have that selected, I think I'm gonna go around, and what if I turn the temperature a little bit more blue? The Gilmar, you're crazy, this is too much color. I know, but then I'm trying to do something here, and then we are going to modify some things. Now, the other thing about this is that this part of the image of that circle is way too bright for my taste. And I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna see if I turn, yes, you see, if I turn now it looks like more cohesive, the colors here in that little circle, right? So what if, do we want more contrast in there or less contrast? Let's add a little bit of contrast, not too much. And that's good. And then what I'm gonna do is just like you see, and I spent so much time steaming these curtains. These are fantastic for pictures, but velvet curtains are a nightmare to retouch and for me to trying to avoid all the wrinkles and stuff. I steamed them for a little while, but it honestly didn't help much. So I'm just gonna lower the clarity in there, so it's gonna make it softer. And I think I'm fine with it. Just a little bit, probably a little bit of less sharpness there too. So it creates some separation. And see what else we can do with this. Here with this little circle, should we play with the whites? I think I'm gonna leave it right there. And okay, so since we're playing with the mask, let me walk you through another some other things that you can utilize in Lightroom to retouch your images. So I'm gonna click here in the plus sign on create a new mask, and I'm gonna create a new mask. And this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select people, and I'm gonna click on my face there, and then I'm gonna select my face skin, and probably since my hands are a little bit crunchy in my neck, I'm gonna do the body skin too. And you see when I select on that, see how the masking is amazing. Like it's selecting just my face and my hand and my neck. And that is a time saver, right? It is wonderful. So after you select the things that you want here, always make sure, because then you're gonna be like, I don't know, I cannot see how to retouch. Where are my other things that I need to do, like the exposure and the colors and blah blah blah? So you just have to scroll down and click on create mask, and that's how the mask is created. As you see, is right here. It's totally different from the one that we created before. And what I want to do here, if you go to preset custom, you click on it, and that's where you're gonna find all of your presets and the presets that come with Lightroom or presets that you have had before, and that's how you're gonna use them. So I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna go down here, and let's see which ones we can use. Skin smooth, let's try that and see what it does. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom on it, and this is way too much. This is not very realistic. So the good thing about this mask and every single modifications that you do on them is that you can fix them. So if you're using a preset and it is way too much, like here, I can lower the opacity of the preset as easy as this. I will say like right there. It's kind of soft still. But let's see what does this preset do. I think that I will just play with this. I'll probably do like texture less. Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, I just don't want to take more time because I want to show you some other things. So when you are done with a certain mask and you want to move on to another thing, you just scroll down and you play close, and that's where you get out of the mask model. But I want to keep showing you things. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to create another mask because I want to show you how all the things, how you can, these portraits or whatever, self-portraits or whoever pictures you are retouching, how you can do so many things with this little new mask from Lightroom. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna select people again, and that's gonna show my face. And then I'm gonna go to the eye sclera, and that's the white part of your eye. And I'm gonna remember always you have to go here and click on create a mask, right? And I am going to go ahead, and you have to be very careful here, because if you do it too much, then you look like that. And that's so fake. And I've seen so many people doing that, and it's way too much. So you just want to open up your eyes a little bit. And of course, in Photoshop, I would like to fix this, but it's just to bring some light to it. I think I shouldn't be taking so much time doing this because I want to work some other things. Okay, so let's keep it like that. Then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna show you some of the other things that you can create with this mask. I'm gonna go create a new mask, and then this is fantastic. Objects, right? So when you say objects, it's gonna come with this brush, but I think that, and the brush is okay. It makes good selections. I like the little square here, like the one that we have in Photoshop. And I'm gonna just go back to my full image. And look what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna make a little rectangle here. And the object that I want to select is the little martini glass with the little pills. And I click on it, and I just make my rectangle, and it's detecting the objects. See? It's selected all of that, right? Is that cool? So you can select and make this little mask and do your selections really cool in Lightroom, and add so many modifications to them. I just love this new mask thing. So I'm going to just add a little bit, open up my exposure, because I think that the little pills there are the kind of the hero of the picture. I'm not the hero. Is those little pills, and the whole concept of the blue and everything were based in those little things. So okay, that's great. I have it there. Like I can even go here and add more contrast, or do whatever you want to do with them, or just go clarity, and if you want them to make pop a little bit more, or sharpness, or whatever. So boom, you did all of these here, right? Okay, so let me see if I would like to create another mask over here. Oh yes, this is something that I would like to do, and I hope that it works the way that I hope it will. I'm gonna create another mask, and this time I'm gonna use the brush, right? And I'm gonna get closer to me, and I just want to modify this here, the color of this. And I'm just trying to see what kind of, because now Lightroom, when you make, oh, it didn't. Usually, or I don't know if I have that selected or not, it take care of your edges, but I don't think I have selected or not, because it's like if I do any modification, oh no, is it affecting my eye itself or just the blue? Yes. So that didn't work the way that I wanted it. Huh. Okay. So we're gonna go, and this way I can teach you how you can delete a mask. And just to delete the mask, you're gonna go right here to these three dots, and you're gonna click on it, right click on it, and delete mask. And you see, you learned something new, because it didn't work for me. Okay. So we're gonna close the mask model right here, and I'm going to go back to my image, and I'm gonna take a look at it to see. I wanna do, it's just like, since I have the tones making matching everything the way that I want it, I just want to lower the saturation and everything. Gilmar, but you did all of that. Yeah, I did all of that to make the colors match themselves. Like I added more blue here in this circle. I added more blue here on the cyan blazer. But now I just don't want it to go like too crazy. I just want it to look way better and not too blue. And then we're gonna do more adjustments on Photoshop, and let's see how I am with time. Okay, this is cool. This is a good, I wanna create another mask really quick. Sorry, this is my ADHD talking right here. I wanna see, because I keep trying to see how good or bad or whatever, how intuitive these masks are. And I saw whenever I was clicking on my face, there was like teeth whitening, one of the options. And I want to see if my little teeth here are going to be selected by that mask. And just for me being a nerd and trying to figure out how intuitive these new masks are, I'm gonna do it. Select people, right? And then I'm gonna click on my face. And then let's do, and now create mask. And now I wanna see if it really, because there is barely any teeth showing there. And I'm curious to see what will happen. It did. It did. It selected it. Sorry about me being a nerd. Oh, wait. Before doing anything here, I want to go here, and I think that there is a preset for teeth whitening. Yes. Click on it. And let me see what it did. Oh, that's too much. That doesn't look good, but it's probably if somebody was smiling, yes, but that this, so I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna lower, let's see, the 0, and then I think I will add this like, I don't know, 15%, but whatever. If I wasn't teaching this, I would be going back and forth, just playing around, and see what else we can do with this. But this is cool. I'm gonna go here. I'm going to close, and I'm going to double check that everything is the way that I want it. And then I'm gonna go to Photoshop really quick, and I'm gonna do like the basic things that I will do here, like cleaning up these hairs and these little pimples and this little darkness here, and my 43 years old wrinkle in my face. And okay, let's see, photo, edit, Photoshop, or you can do Command E. Oh, no. This is no bueno. Just today, you decided that it wasn't going to work. A disk error. So this is a tragedy. Right now, it is not working. That is fantastic. So in that case, my friends, we're going to try to finish this picture for the next 10 minutes or so. I wonder what's going on with my computer, that you decided that today wasn't a good day to do whatever it was supposed to do. So if anybody has an idea on why this is not working, I'd be more than happy to listen to what's going on here, because I have no idea. I want to try to see, I cannot see my chat, and I'm trying to figure out, let me stop sharing here. Oh, here, my chat. Okay, there is a chat here. Now imagine she kept the hair falling down and the nails falling off with the pills with happy faces on it. How great would it be? That's a good idea. That is a lot of fun. In the film noir, black and white images, do you use a beauty dish to create the overhead light, or did you use I actually use a light, but it can be easily done because you see the shape of the light that I was using. It was a it was the same shape as a beauty light. You can just have it there with a boom um, arm and have it there perfectly. I use one of those really old lights that I found in a prop house, and it was one of the inspirations for the picture. So I'm gonna answer some questions, and if you have an idea why my Photoshop is not working and is not opening, please let me know. Another thing, make sure to scroll down the adorama.com event and enter to win a Wacom Intuos Pro Creative Pen tablet. So woohoo! Some do you tips to stimulate your creativity, and how do you come up with your options with my concepts? So it is what I was telling you guys, is just trying to see everything. Like if you listen to a song and there is a certain part, or like we always have like a certain part or a sentence or everything on a song that we love the most, just try to read that sentence or sing it and imagine images that will portray that sentence or that emotion or that situation and everything. And I think that's how we should approach creativity, is just looking at every single little thing in us as a photographers or painters or designers, is just looking at every single little thing and trying to put an image together. Okay, that's a beautiful song. If I was hired to kind of put that song in an image, how would you photograph them with people? How would you do a campaign? How would you do the product pictures? How would you light it? What colors would you use? Those are the things that if you take time to really analyze creatively every little single thing about you and you make it a habit, then you're going to be a creative genius, because you are just putting yourself into that situation over and over and over again. And then there's going to come a time that you don't have to do it anymore. You don't have to push yourself to see everything creative. You are going to live in a magical place where everything is beautiful and everything looks like a magical picture. And that's pretty much how I do. Believe me, it's a better world than whatever we see when we touch reality. Um, is there any way to export the mask from Lightroom to Photoshop? That is a really good question. I don't think so, but I'm not 100%. I'm 85% sure that you cannot. But you can do this. You can do your mask, and it's very intuitive there in Photoshop as well. And the same thing with the object selection is really, 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 really open. Okay, somebody said here, maybe they export the photo, close Lightroom, and open it in Photoshop. Save the project and restart Lightroom. Well, that will be fantastic, and I will definitely do that. But not right now while I have you guys live. I just let's make sure that if you have any questions, you can let me know right now. I'm really bummed that I couldn't open my image in Photoshop, but I can walk you through whatever I will do to it. So I can do that by the image here. Let's zoom in it, and things that I will do. First, I will get rid of these little black things over here. I will just create, I will duplicate my layer, and I will just clone stamp and use the healing brush, and I will just clean up these hairs over there. And I will clean up my eye right here and clean up my chin and these little things here and this little hair here. That's what I will do. And I think that the rest, it will be like playing with, I don't do a whole lot of frequency separation anymore, but I don't think that is necessary here. I will just do dodge and burning. And then I will play with selective color, and I will figure it out how to make those colors pop. And to do that, I use selective color, and then I will do a little bit of color grading. And I don't know if anybody does color grading like that. I usually what I do is I create different luminosity mask for different areas of my image, and then I color grade using curves or using levels. I don't know if is an accepted technique by high-end retouchers or whatever. Is something that I do because it gives me control of the different brightness or darkness side of my image, and then I can add color separately into them. But that's the way that I do it. Probably we can do another one of these, and this time I can make sure that my disk and my Photoshop is working. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed it so much. I hope that you learn, if you haven't experienced the magic of AI Lightroom mask selections, that you can give it a try because it is wonderful. And I don't know, I think that it came out just recently, but it keeps getting better and better and better to have better control of every single areas of your image. And luminosity mask for color grading can be very helpful. Oh, thank you, Dennis. Yes, that's what I do all the time. Is it Dennis Dunbar? Because if it's Dennis Dunbar telling me that, then I can feel like a rock star. Yes, it is. Yeah, Dennis. I want to be like Dennis. Whenever I grow up, Dennis is the most amazing retoucher. If you go to the movies, when you see the posters or TV shows and whatever, I always like walk around and say like, I'm pretty sure that one of these was retouched by Dennis because he's a rock star. I want to be like him when I grow up. So thank you for answering that question, Dennis. I'm so sad that I couldn't get to Photoshop, but thank you so much. It was so wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for Wacom. I couldn't do anything that I do without them. I hope that you get ideas and get yourself in front of the camera, as much as uncomfortable that it can be. I can tell you 1,000% that it will open up so much room to your creativity because of the freedom of time, or the freedom of being whoever you want to be, and pretending to be whoever you want to be, and tap into different areas and concepts and styles of photography. I will tell you, like, if you don't know what to do, just watch your favorite movies from whoever are your favorite movie makers and filmmakers, whatever, and try to recreate the light, try to recreate the style, the color grading, try to recreate the costumes, the pose, the ambience, and everything. And you will learn so much by doing so. And I think that 100%, I wouldn't be able to have created my unique personal style if I hadn't put myself in front of the camera. Because even when I ask a friend, or I hire a model or anything, they don't have the time and the patience for me just to go and try and listen to the crazy voices in my head that say, try this now, do this now, that. At any time that I want, I'm always available to sit in front of my camera and try the things that I want. So try to put yourself in there, and I'm pretty sure that it's gonna take your creativity to other levels that you haven't experienced before. I'm gonna tell you, it is uncomfortable. You're gonna feel super self-aware. You're gonna feel like so weird at the beginning. But if you push through, and if you really dedicate yourself to do it, and just take yourself out of the way, and remember that it's not for you to be beautiful or whatever, it's just for you to let all those creativity voices come out and play. Okay, so we have more questions. Do you use Adobe Color Wheel for your backdrop selection based on the model's clothing? The models myself. No, I didn't use any color wheels. And by color wheels, what do you mean? Do you mean the color wheels on Adobe Photoshop that you use, or do you mean the color grading? I just don't really get it, what you're trying to say. But to select, all of my clothing was blue. What I did modify was the cyan, and I wanted to make it less cyan and more blue. And for that, I use the hue, saturation, and lightness model just to modify the color. But please, if you have time, just keep contrast colors complementary. No, I'm sorry, you lost me there. Probably, I don't know what you're talking about, and please teach me. Sorry. And then we have another one thank you, from Aneta Jurceva. Thank you very much for the tips on creativity, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And Amy, thank you. Dennis Dumbra Amy says that she also loved your presentation. Thank you so much for everything and for watching. And I hope that next time I can give you the whole Photoshop. Maybe we should do another one. This one is the Lightroom retouching one, and maybe we can do part 2, and we go to the Photoshop editing part of it. What do you think? What do you think, Wacom? What do you think, Adorama? We should do a part 2. Okay, so this is it. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for everything, and for listening to my crazy accent and my crazy ideas. And I hope that you found some creativity and that you got new tricks to play around with on Lightroom. And I hope that you get to win one of the Wacom tablets that we're giving away. So this was amazing. Thank you. And that's all for today.